What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Sistas. This is season 9, episode 14. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So we actually start this episode off with Aaron and Karen, okay? They're having this conversation about Karen's decision to leave Atlanta. Y'all, she says that she is ready to move on with her life because there has been a lot of tragedy that has happened in Atlanta. And I must agree, there has been so many things that has happened to Karen in Atlanta that I completely understand why she wants to, get a new environment. Now, Aaron, he's trying to tell her, listen, you can't just run away from your problems because you could absolutely go to a whole nother city and then you still are feeling this way. You still have these same feelings. And at this point, she's like, listen, I want both of us to leave Atlanta with baby Faith and start over. And he's like, well, what about our support system? Aaron, are you okay? Because y'all don't have a support system. Let's be so for real right now. You have Karen's mom, but that's it. That's all y'all got. The sisters are not a support system at all. They got their own bullshit that they're worried about, and they are not caring about Karen or baby Faith, okay? Now, besides that, my only concern is, because I can't remember what Aaron does. I know he was supposed to be a pastor at one point. We completely dropped that storyline. But besides that, I'm not exactly sure what Aaron does for work. I'm just hoping that wherever they decide to move to, his business can continue. Because wasn't he like some type of millionaire or something like that when we first met him? Child, I can't remember. But nonetheless, he basically asked her at one point, do you feel like you would want to leave had this been Zach's baby that still lived and my baby passed away? And she is like, no, please know that there's nothing going on with me and Zach. Those feelings are going. She don't want no parts of Zach. And y'all, at this rate, I really think that Karen is over Zach. And I'm so glad, because when I tell you they dragged this out, there was so much back and forth for so long, it was ridiculous. I think that she is absolutely over Zach. And I do understand why she says that, had it been Zach's baby, she would have to co-parent with him and have to stay in Atlanta. And that's absolutely true. You know what I mean? He could absolutely take her to court and be like, you can't take my child away from me. Y'all know how Zach do. Okay? Y'all know how he do. So she has made it clear she has no interest in Zach. She wants better for Karen and Aaron. Okay? And I'm just like, okay, even without them moving, I just really want to see them be happy together. Just Karen and Aaron. Not the other bullshit of what else is going on. Because let's be honest, a lot of their relationship, it has so much still to do with these leftover feelings about Zach that we never really got to see them flourish. I gotta be honest. Besides that, Karen even mentions that she don't even want the shop no more. Like, she doesn't want anything anymore. And this is one thing that I will say. I did appreciate the fact that Aaron was trying to tell her, like, girl, when I first met you, you were very ambitious and driven, and you're still that way. Moving on to another place, that's not going to heal the situation completely, especially these are just like some lingering feelings that you may be having due to the postpartum depression. And I feel like we have to keep in mind that at this pace of the show, right, a lot of the stuff that's happening with Karen is not really easy to digest as a viewer, because the pacing of the show is weird. All the stuff that's happening to Karen right now, she only been out of the hospital for like 5 days, y'all. Maybe barely that. She's only been out of the hospital for 5 days. I don't even understand why the shop is a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get yourself together before you can worry about the shop. You know what I'm saying? And even this whole thing about her, wanting to pick up and move to Atlanta. I'm just like, wait, Karen, wait. You just went to one meeting with this group. Go to a few more sessions. The one thing about TV shows, especially this one, is that they do this one and done thing. They only go to therapy one time, and then we don't see them go anymore. We've seen that with Zach. I want to say we barely saw Lucretia come back for Danny. And that's only because Danny has some random things happening. But even with Karen visiting the group, I need her to go to a few more sessions. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So that way she can really get some healing done. Karen, she does admit that she has been difficult lately, but she does thank Aaron for holding him down because he really has. Aaron has always been there for Karen. It don't matter if Karen is right or dead ass wrong. Aaron has always been there for Karen. And now he's absolutely been there for the baby. Because when Karen wouldn't even glance at the child, he was there. Okay? So at this point, Aaron is trying to tell her, like, listen, we can leave, but it has to be planned out. We can't just, pick up and go and have no plan in place. Because at the end of the day, it's not just me and you. We have a baby to actually be concerned about. I'm all here for it. Now, moving on from that storyline, let's slide on over to Zach and Fatima. Because Zach has showed up to Fatima's job to basically talk things out with her. He basically apologizes and he admits that he's been wrong and he wants to take accountability. This is a first because Zach never takes accountability, if we want to be honest. But he does apologize for getting the midwife, and then she apologizes for not telling him about where Karen was because Karen told her, don't tell anybody. So then she also says that she doesn't feel wrong for how she felt about Karen losing the baby, but she should have expressed it in a different way. Again, the way that's worded, it sounds pretty bad, right? And I just kind of wish that the writers could have been like, okay, Fatima could say something along the lines of, you know what, initially when I heard about her losing your baby, I just thought it was going to be less weight on our shoulders because the whole Karen and you, the back and forth, it's been a lot for me. Because I want her to admit that it has been a lot for her. However, after talking to Karen and understanding where Karen is coming from, you know what I'm saying? My heart breaks for her. I don't understand why that wasn't said. I'm not understanding why the writers, I don't know, whatever. I'm not the show's writer. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that where it's at. I just feel like that could have been expressed so much differently. But nonetheless, Fatima talks about how working with all these sports players, it may not be the thing for her because it has caused way too many issues. Not only are there issues with Zach, there's also issues with Andy. Oh, now Zach, he's like, oh, fuck Andy. I said, oh, that's how you feel? Baby, he done said that quite a few times, hasn't he? Nonetheless, he basically says that, she shouldn't give up on the players. However, she should go ahead, set some more boundaries. And I agree. She has to set boundaries. But at the same time, this is Fatima's first time working in this type of space. Even when it comes to the clients that Andy has, Andy ain't never worked with no ball players. She ain't never had, $1 million nigga put that pressure on her. Oh my gosh. But nonetheless, speaking of the players, here's the thing. Chaz comes in. He says that he needs to discuss some business. Fatima, she's like, no, because I'm about to ride for my man. I am down for Zach. I'm always going to choose Zach. Whoa, baby, you came in hot. That man said he's here to discuss business. He never said anything about getting into a relationship with you, taking you out on a date. He didn't say none of that shit. Fatima, what you could have done instead of doing all of this my man bullshit, you could have been like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and set up a meeting between you and Hayden. Because at the end of the day, Hayden is the lawyer. You know what I mean? He's the attorney. He knows what's supposed to be going on. So, next thing you know, Hayden pops up. He's trying to be like, oh, Chaz, what's up? Chaz don't want to hear it because now he's pissed off because Fatima just went off on him. My whole thing about this is that, listen, Fatima, I understand that you are always going to choose Zach. That's great for you. But at the same time, girl, I need for you to realize that you are leaving money on the table. And not only that, this could be bad for business if he decides to tell the other players, we not fucking with her. We're moving on to something else. We gonna go with a different lawyer. Or we're going with a new team. Like, you know what I'm saying? We shall see how that story is going to unfold. Moving on from there. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wrap Zach up real quick and then move on to the next storyline. We then see Zach, he's in the gym, right? He ended up checking his bank account randomly. Now, they could have set it up that he got an alert on his phone that there was a deposit, but he was like, oh, yo, let me check my bank account real quick. That was kind of weird. Nonetheless, he just got a deposit for $100,000. Now, to me, it sounds like Gary must have gave him his money back before he goes off to Ghana with his special needs child and, do that whole thing. Okay, cool. He's happy about it. But next thing you know, that old man, I think his name was Mr. Keys, he comes into the gym. They chit-chat for a little bit. And he ends up asking Zach about his family history, right? Like, your parents. I think he ended up mentioning a guy's name. And, of course, Zach, I don't know my dad. I don't know who you're talking about. When he mentions Gladys, Zach is like, oh, yeah, that's my mom. Come to find out. At first, I thought this guy was going to be Zach's dad, but no. He said that he was best friends with Zach's father. Now, to me, it sounds like they may have been best friends in school, and then when life happened, they kind of separated with their own ways. Because Zach has to tell him, yeah, that man be your best friend, but I don't know that man. I don't even know my father. He left me, and he was a deadbeat. So I have no connection to that man. So, of course, Mr. Keys, he feel bad now because he like, damn, I done ruined this man's day by telling him I know his dad, and his dad ain't shit. But yeah, like I said, it sounds like Mr. Keys may have known him at one point in his life, but he did not know that this man turned out to be a deadbeat. Okay? That was pretty much Zach's story. Moving on. Let's go ahead and slip and slide right on to Danny, right? Danny is at work. She come walking in. The energy's weird. She sees Leonard. I'm like, okay, here we go. The back and forth with her and Leonard. Well, guess what? He done got fired. He got fired because we learned that, of course, the company is going under now. Now, Danny, of course, she's making a joke about all of this, about he's gotten fired. And next thing you know, Leonard, he goes off on his way. And she's now approached by somebody who works there. Come to find out, her hours are just going to be shortened. She's not going to be working full-time. I guess she now has a part-time job. And what's so crazy to me is that she's like, yeah, because I really need this job. Danny, could you please go apply yourself and find something else? Because if they were to cut your hours in half, I'm just speaking hypothetically, if they're going to cut your hours in half, girl, won't you still need the income coming in because now your income is cut in half? I get you just got that money from a settlement, but girl, you may blow through that money kind of fast. You know what I mean? So we later on see Danny again, and she sees Leonard. Baby, Leonard done got arrested. Okay? Leonard has gotten arrested because he was out there throwing luggage at people and hitting people, just doing the most. Now, Leonard is absolutely in handcuffs. And who happens to be the officer that's there? Oh, Officer Green. So we see these two, they flirt a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, are we going to do the thing where Danny has to choose between Officer Green and Tony? And I'm hoping that she actually chooses Officer Green, because y'all already know I have no interest in Tony at this point. I mean, Tony he's been trashed to me. That man has been trashed since we met him when he was stalking Danny, listening in on her conversations in her car. Okay? So if something better can pop up with Officer Green, I am here for it. Now, we go ahead and slide on over to the bank, right? And Rock shows up. He's trying to make a deposit. Y'all, the deposit was $10. $10. I said, oh, baby, he's down bad, okay? My whole thing is, I said, why is you here? Are you trying to peep the scene? Like, how you know to come to this bank, right? Now, we see Sabrina in the back. She has a phone call with Andy. Y'all, why is Andy on the phone trying to talk crap about Danny? I'm just like, girl, why are you mad? Because she called you out and nothing that she said was a lie. You are a liar. And also, did you forget that you lied to Sabrina? So you sitting on the phone trying to complain to her, it's not going to work, boo. Like, she literally asked her, Andy, why did you tell me a lie about meeting with Dr. Vaughn? Y'all, she lied again. And was like, well, I'm just trying to work on this case. And he said that he would help me with the case. Bitch, you're lying. You met with him because you're attracted to him. And because you trying to do some things with him. Yeah, you want to get this case done, but be so fucking serious with your whole ass. Okay? So, next thing you know, she gets off the phone with Andy, right? Sabrina gets off the phone, and Rock ends up coming into her office. Y'all, why did Maurice call him Dr. Dickum Down? I said, sir, you doing a lot. But I loved Maurice in this scene because, baby, he had some one-liners that I loved. I was cracking up. So, basically, Maurice is thinking that Rock may try to rob the bank, right? And he like, listen, we already been through that. We not doing this no more. I don't trust it. I said, baby, I would not trust Rock either. However, Rock wants to have a conversation with Sabrina and basically tell her, like, listen, I did not know that you were friends with my cousin, right? And according to him, before he went to jail, he was in school or something like that to get a doctorate. I said, okay, well, what did you do to go to jail? How many years were you in there? What's going on, sir? And basically, she's like calling him out like, no, well, you went to jail. You didn't have that on your profile. You're not a doctor. You lied, all these things. And he's like, okay, people lie on those profiles all the time. Hell, you got a bunch of filters on your pictures. And also, you didn't include the fact that you did some jail time. I said, ooh, baby, he did some research. He know that you've been to jail, Sabrina. Oh, my God. So, basically, at this point, they kind of agree that they are just not going to be telling lies to each other from here on out. And it seems like there's going to be a continuation of Rock and Sabrina. We gonna see how that works out because we do see her have a conversation with Paige and Maurice, and she's kind of saying how, the plan is to only sleep with him. She ain't trying to go no further, even though we all kind of feel like knowing Sabrina, she may actually fall for this man. You know what I'm saying? So, next thing you know, Dylan pops up. Y'all just learned his name. Dylan is Paige's brother. He pops up with this vision board and Maurice gets all awkward because he likes him. And I'm just like, yo, I can't lie. I'm kind of over this whole Maurice getting awkward thing because he ain't never got awkward like this with no other guy. But this little white man, that's what's going to make Maurice act like this? Child, I guess. Dylan ends up apologizing for kissing Maurice without his permission and all of this. Child, I guess. Moving on to the last person I want to talk about, and that is Andy. Because, y'all, we got to talk about the fact that these niggas on this show pop up anywhere, everywhere. First of all, before I even talk about Andy, Tyler and whoever is writing, would y'all stop having these niggas pop up on these women? They pop up at their apartments. They pop up at their jobs. They pop up any and everywhere. It's weird, okay? Dr. Vaughn, who should know better, pops up on Andy. Makes it all the way to the fucking conference room, okay? At the law firm. How did you get back here? Who let you back here? I'm trying to understand. Y'all, the man basically pops up and she over here trying to hide him because she like, oh, did anybody see you? Because she doesn't want Fatima to see him. And I'm just like, Andy, you ain't never tried to hide no nigga. You was fucking on a janitor that worked there. You wasn't trying to hide him the way you try to hide this man. This is crazy. Okay? So, basically, she tells him how she was lying to Sabrina or whatever. And he's like, okay, but why'd you lie? Because that shit is weird. The thing is, Andy is fighting her own demons, y'all. And she ain't winning. She's not winning the battle. Because she knows that she a hoe. She's trying her best not to be. But girl, it's just in you. That's just who you are. It's okay. It is okay. But besides that, y'all, the whole reason why he even came here is so that he can bring her a cup of coffee. I said, nigga, okay. You couldn't take her to the coffee shop? No, you had to pop up with the coffee? Okay, fine. Whoop-de-doo. In the words of Young Thug, whoop-de-doo. Okay? Now, he says that he wants to take her out. And y'all, I don't care. I really don't. Nothing about Andy and Dr. Vaughn amused me at all. But at one point, she starts making out with this man in the conference room, which is a completely glass conference room, right? And as they're stopping this kiss, y'all, her mama come in. I said, Andy's mother? They gave Andy a mama? Who would have thought that was happening? I'm so surprised. Because Andy ain't never had no mama, okay? Hell, Andy ain't had no family just like Danny ain't got no family. Sabrina ain't got no family. Sheesh. But y'all, next episode looks like it's going to be real interesting. Oh, also, by the way, who the fuck is Andrielle? Who is Andrielle? That lady said, Andrielle Monique Barnes. I said, who the fuck is Andrielle? You mean tell me you been going by Andrea Barnes and your name is Andrielle? What's happening here? Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.